Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. I am CQ. I'm your host, as always. And boy, howdy, do we got a killer guest for you tonight. My guest tonight hails from Winnipeg, Manitoba. He has just about done it all, from championship boxer, heavy metal band member, stuntman, and now actor extraordinaire. He's best known for playing those tough and gruff characters and the villains you just love to hate. Most recently, he appeared as Ivan, one of the tracksuit mafia henchmen on the hit Disney Plus MCU series Hawkeye. You can soon catch him opposite Sir Anthony Hopkins on the upcoming sci-fi thriller Zero Contact, which was produced in 17 different countries entirely virtually during the 2020 pandemic. You can catch Zero Contact in theaters, on digital, and on demand May 27th, 2022. Everyone, please give an absolute warm welcome to our guest tonight, actor Aleks Paunovic, everybody. Let's go. Welcome to the show, Aleks Paunovic, everybody.
Yay! Thanks for having me, brother.
Oh, man. I'm good, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. We had so much to discuss and not a lot of time, so I want to make this worth it. So, real quick, because like I mentioned in the intro, I mean, I know you were in boxing. It's kind of in your blood. And I know you the heavy metal band and all these things. How'd you make your way into acting?
Man, it's basically been my life. I stumble upon things. I'm a big fan of saying yes to a lot of things. I just say yes, and then I'll discover if I like it or not, and that'll inform me for next time, or I'll learn. I just love saying yes. And I was a part of I was playing metal in my band, and sure enough, we were playing the set, and then a casting director came and saw me and asked if I would audition for a film. This was when I was living in Winnipeg. And I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. And I went in, I got the role. And then, and I was like, this is really interesting. I became really great friends with the stunt coordinator there, Rick Skeen. And because Winnipeg is such a small community, he was like, we don't have any big fighter 6'5" guys here. Like, would you want to learn this? Again, I said, yeah. So while I would be playing in my band till 2 a.m., they would have a night shoot, and I would drive over and be a part of this movie. But it was really weird dynamic, because here I am playing in a metal band. I have all these screaming people loving what we're doing. And now I'm going to help, just starting. So it's like, can you get this guy coffee? Don't look at the actor. Don't talk to the actor. Leave them alone. And I'm like, why can't I talk to him? That guy's super cool. And it's like, no, like it was literally that thing. So that's how I got my foot in. And then I realized that I really wanted to tell stories. I really wanted to try acting. So I took some classes in Winnipeg to see if it was something that I wanted to do. I fell in love with it. And then I moved to Vancouver, and I just started, because I was older. I started in my mid-30s really to doing this job. And, I'm sleeping. I didn't have a lot of money. I was sleeping on my friend's floor. And I just was doing a lot of classes, a lot of workshops in Los Angeles and New York. I just knew I had a lot of time to make up. And then I started to really kind of gain my ground working in my 40s. And here we are, like 52 and having an amazing time in my life of working in this industry that has been so amazing to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I looked through your resume, man, and it is incredible. Even as far back, I mean, because there's always this kernel of like sci-fi, because I saw Stargate SG-1, Andromeda, Battlestar Galactica, Eureka, another Battlestar Galactica, Stargate Atlantis, Caprica, Smallville, the 100, iZombie, Supernatural, like all these incredible franchises, and like this is like sci-fi royalty, pop culture royalty that you got to really cut your teeth on, doing an episode here, episode there. I mean, what is it, something that those kind of projects kept drawing you in, of like, was it an opportunity thing? Was it like, I just like this genre thing? What was it for you?
It was an opportunity. I mean, whatever was being shot in Vancouver, your agents throw you on auditions for, and Vancouver is basically, Hollywood North and sci-fi heaven on this side. So, and I was pretty much, I'm kind of a sci-fi guy. So, but what's interesting, I was never a crazy sci-fi guy fan, which allowed me actually to go into these auditions with not really being starstruck or like I can't wait to get on this show, which I think it helped me quite a bit. But yeah, it was just opportunities and slugging away and just doing like guest stars and day player stuff here and there on these amazing shows and then I think my big kind of break, I don't even know if I want to call it that, but a show called Van Helsing, which is a vampire show, and I got to be a lead of that for 5 years, and I'm a huge, because I did all these guest stars in these shows, I really got to learn because I'm a very gregarious guy and I love to host, and I saw some shows where some of the leads weren't great hosts, and I saw some shows where they were amazing hosts. And what I saw between the two is that it allows the guest actor, like the guest to your home, to be free, to be better when you're welcoming. And that's just my nature. So when I saw that, I mean, perfect example is the guys from Supernatural or they know your name. They want to know how you're doing. They make small talk with you. Some shows, they just like, you just go in, do your job and get out. But I just feel like it allows for more creativity when you can just make people feel at ease. And so to be a part of Van Helsing for 5 years and them writing me a fantastic arc from being a badass vampire into like a human that wants only good things to happen. And I got to really be a part of a show that allowed people to guest stars to come in and be free. And that was the gift to me. So I've just been lucky to be a part of so many amazing franchises here.
Yeah. I remember seeing you as far back as I think iZombie. I know you did 8 episodes of iZombie as Julian, and I just remember seeing you there, and like you struck such an imposing figure that you're like, man, who is this guy?
Right.
So it's working for you, man. You're doing great.
Thanks, man. I love doing that show. They were great on that show.
It seemed like a lot of fun. But you did C with Jason Momoa. You did the Van Helsing.
Mamba.
the Snowpiercer TV series, incredible. Yeah. And then obviously, like I was saying in the intro, most recently we saw you in Hawkeye as Ivan, as a legit comic book character come to life, right? Pulled straight from the pages. What was that like for you? Because like you exist in like the DC Arrowverse universe, and now to exist like in the MCU, like what does that mean for someone like you?
I mean, I've always been an MCU fan. Like DC MCU, I would go to be a part of the MCU is such an honor because it's such an amazing franchise. So many fans, me being one of them. So to be cast as Ivan in the Tracksuit Mafia in Disney Plus's, Hawkeye is just, it was amazing. We spent over 7 months in New York and Atlanta shooting it. It was 6 episodes, so it shows you how much work they put into 6 episodes. And it was just an amazing experience to be a part of the franchise. And it's because of the secrecy of Marvel, we didn't even get to see any scripts. That was the crazy bit. So we were being told, so we would get the sides on the day, and then we would be told, so this is what's happening beforehand, and this is what's happening after. So when the series came out, I had a watch party at my house. And when the series came out, I had a bunch of people over, and I was watching it for the first time like everyone else because I didn't know what was happening around it. So it was an amazing experience to be a part of it and then to watch it. They did such a great job with that show of putting it together. It's kind of like the new Die Hard for Christmas. I feel like every Christmas people are going to watch it. They just did an amazing, amazing job putting that series together. And it's an honor to be a part of it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to share the screen with Aleks Paunovic, who this was, for people that don't know, she played Echo. Like this was her first thing ever, like ever doing everything. And for her to like come out the gate, swinging for the fences. What was that like for you as someone who's kind of been through the process and worked through it? Like, is there did you want to like give her tips and help her out? Like, what was the relationship there?
It was so interesting because you gotta, like, I give her so much credit because she walked into a world where, you know, there's so much going on. All of a sudden there's this camera in your face for a close up, and, you know, and she's never done any of this before. She's deaf, and so she's communicating through a translator. And so we have to communicate through the translator. What was great, there was a lot of us that wanted to pick up words just so we can have, like, just say hello and just let her know that we're trying to kind of be open. But she was the consummate professional. She was so great. She killed it in her scenes. I just love the fact that they saw the talent that they discovered and gave her own show. To me, it's just incredible. She was next level. She's a very special woman. Let's just say that. She's very special. I think she's going to do super well in the universe. I think she's going to do way more than just Marvel. She is just starting. It was an honor. It was an honor to work with her, and for what she had to deal with being a first time in front of the camera on that type of stage. Come on, man. Like, that was amazing. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I bet. And speaking of her getting her own show, could we see Ivan pop up? I mean, is this something that could happen maybe in the future? What is it? Can't tease.
I sign NDAs, my man. You can't pull this shit out of me. You cannot pull this shit out of me, man. You were close. You were close.
Just a friendly chat between guys. Nobody's watching this. Nobody's.
No
just
one's
us
watching
guys.
or listening.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So speaking of Ivan and kind of all the characters you've typically skewed towards, what makes you so good at playing bad?
Great question. I feel like it's because I don't think that they're bad. I feel like they would just go a little bit further than the next person to get what they want. I really love the idea of taking the bad guy out of playing a bad guy. And you know, like, if you brother, sister, daughter, how far would you go to protect them? And, you know, when it's done under the light of cueing the music to be ominous and having these little moments, like, that's all there. But I like treating it as a human character that would go that much further than a good guy would go to get what needs to be done. So I love playing those roles because I'm not like that in real life. In real life, I'm very gregarious. I love having fun. And, you know, even though I come from a boxing background, the last thing I want to do is get into a street fight. I'll talk my way out of anything, but I know I can protect myself and the people around me. But I don't like treating anybody poorly or mean or bad. So it's so much fun playing these type of roles where I can really let loose and kind of go that much further with characters that I play. So it just makes it more fun.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I'm curious, because of how you approach that, how do you then approach, let's say, hey, you're going to be the good guy, you're going to be the hero, you're going to be the, whatever it is, the comic relief. How do you approach that differently than being the bad guy who's just, I'm the guy willing to go a little bit further?
I just think that we all have a piece of each character in us in some way. And so, you know, just drawing from life experiences and drawing from moments. I'm a big fan. I'm a very physical actor, an emotional actor. So I like to connect with moments in my life that were, like, I remember laughing my head off with one of my friends, and I was playing a joke on another friend. And that's the character that's the moment that I would make into a character. And just like, you know, a moment where that was traumatic for me, where I had to, you know, I got very angry, or I went that much further, I would try to remember that moment and grab what it felt like to have that possible loss. And then I would bring that into a character. So I very much draw from life experience. So I just try to do the best I can to make it as honest and authentic as I can.
Okay, that makes sense. Now that, you know, you've had a career for a couple years now, and you've done some stuff, and you've done some bigger stuff, and MCU and Hawkeye. I'm curious, what's been like the craziest fan interaction you've had, whether it's on the street or at a convention or something like that?
Yeah, I have a great one. I had a dude. I was walking down this. I was walking down the street, and this big dude walked by me, and he just eyeballed me. He was just like walked by me like, and then he walked by, and I was like, does that guy want to fight me? What's going on? Is this a scrap? And then I turned back, and he turns back. I went, I think this guy wants to fight me. I was with a friend of mine, and then the guy stopped, and then he started walking fast towards me. And I get into my boxing stance, just waiting. And he goes, I fucking love you in Van Helsing. And I was like, dude, you scared the shit out of me, man. What are you doing? Like, don't come, like, my God, you're a big dude to come at me like that. So that was one of the funniest moments that I had.
Nice. Hey, if you're 6'5" and this guy's, I mean, my God, he must have been a tree that came after you.
He was a huge dude, but the intent where it just hit him, he goes, oh my God, that's Van Helsing guy. And he came over to tell me, like, as a fan, I love you in Van Helsing. I was like, oh shit, dude.
That's awesome. So for everybody out there, if you're going to approach, and I'm sure these guys appreciate, showing some love, casually, not aggressively.
Smile at me, man. Smile at me.
Give the wink, the nod, something. Give us a cue.
Yeah. Give me a little something.
So let's talk about Zero Contact. Now, I'm going to read the synopsis here because for those that maybe haven't heard of it or don't know about it, it's starring Academy Award winner Sir Anthony Hopkins. He's a high-tech the movie is a high-tech thriller, chillingly reimagining the isolated virtual world. Hopkins plays Finley Hart, the eccentric genius behind a global data mining program. Upon his death, 5 remote agents, including his son, are contacted by a mysterious AI. It reinactivates the initiative, which I don't want to read because some of this gives a little bit too much away, but sinister events occur. They need to decide what they're going to do because they could possibly save the world or end up destroying it. I watched it and it's mind blowing. And, just before this interview, I played the trailer for the audience. So if this is the first time, like if this is someone's first time seeing this and having tease us a little bit, like what is this about that's going to draw us into this movie?
I just think the intrigue and the thriller of it and the mysteriousness of it. But what I really love about it, and a friend of mine told me when I had him over to watch the screener, he was like, if this movie happened before the pandemic, that it wouldn't get any attention whatsoever. But because for 2 years we've gone through this type of communication because of the pandemic, everybody has been in these seats before. So the idea that it could be you sitting in the seat being held, being handed a code, being a part of something that may be really insane, because it's like watching a horror movie where the person in the house is like, someone's in the house. And you're literally watching this movie going, what? That could easily happen to me because I'm watching this horror movie by myself. Mm-hmm. So I think it's relatable because the world has gone through so much of this. And then if you allow yourself that moment of going like, I could be in this movie, that's how interesting it is, because I've been on Zoom on so many calls before. But then you take that story of how it could be carried into this kind of thriller. I think that's where it really kind of gets interesting, where it doesn't happen to a lot of people, but you're already pulled in because you're starting the conversation on a Zoom like we've done for the last 2.5 years. So I love that aspect of it. Yeah,
it's so true. And I mean, really, we got to hit home on that. This was produced in 17 different countries, entirely virtually. I mean, like you guys never shared a scene, never shared a room, never met in person. This was entirely shot on Zoom, which is, I mean, bonkers, really, to think about it. And that's, I'm assuming that's where the title Zero Contact comes from, because these guys never actually physically share the same space. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, we even said to each other, it's like this is the only movie that has ever been done without a handshake. Literally, no one touched each other. No, there was no handshake. And the other thing of everything that you just said, put on top of that we didn't even have scenes with each other. Like we didn't even have scenes with each other as actors, because how it was set up, Like if you picture a Zoom with like 8 people on it, it was director, producer, lighting design, DOP, set design. They were all there. The people that would be behind the monitors on a real shoot, they were all in the Zoom. So I had like, hey, can you move your lamp over to the right and change that shirt and like everything. And it's like, okay, do you have the sound good? Do you have the thing ready to record? And talking about the character. And then everyone would go on mute and we would have one guy giving us the lines on the other end, who was an AD, and giving us the lines. And then that's where we would act. So like I had a moment where I'm like, okay, you guys ready? Yeah, okay, Alex, hit record when you're ready. And I'm like, okay, record. Do this scene. I'm in it. We're doing the whole thing. And then Rick yells cut. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit stop. I was like, oh no, I didn't hit record. No. So it was like, I'm screwing up. And then like a good take has happened. And I'm like, I'm playing all the positions of not a normal movie. And, but that's what made it exciting during the pandemic. You're literally sitting there. I'm learning stuff about my phone that I never even knew before, which was really cool. So it was just that in general and being able to shoot. But listen, man, I didn't think this movie was going to go anywhere. Honestly, I literally in my brain, Tony Hopkins wasn't in the movie at the very beginning. So it was literally Rick basically said our film that we were supposed to shoot in Europe obviously isn't happening because of the pandemic, but we still have the team here. We want to be creative. We're thinking about doing like a Zoom type of movie. Do you want to be involved in it? I said, yeah, man, anything Rick wants to do, I'm a fan of because we've been friends for a while and it would be his directorial debut. I'm in. And so 10 days later, they wrote a script. No script in 10 days is good in 10 days. No script is good in 10 days. But Cam Cannon wrote an amazing script right off the bat. I was just so enthralled and I love the character that they asked me to play. And so I said yes, but I honestly thought we would shoot this and pandemic would be done in a couple months. This would be pushed off to the side and we're back to doing real movies. That's what my brain was thinking. The last thing I would have thought is that Anthony Hopkins would come aboard. It would become a successful NFT project. Lionsgate would pick it up. We come out May 27th, VOD and select theaters. And now we're off to do the second and third movie of the franchise. So it's mind-boggling that we've gone this far. And it's a testament to Enderby Pictures and Rick, the producer, director who made this and drove this to the finish line so we can have these amazing experiences again. But I'm just baffled at how cool it is.
Sometimes you take a gamble. You roll the dice and you hit big, man. Like that's huge.
That's why I say yes to everything. I'll say yes to anything because I know either I'll learn from it or something amazing like this will happen.
I mean, obviously you'll say yes to anything. You're sitting on my show right now. So
yeah, I said no, but they made me do it with
Smart. That's smart. I'm curious. So you said like you're directing. I mean, obviously you're not directing yourself because they were on the Zoom call, but you're in the room by yourself. You're doing your camera. You're doing your makeup. You're doing your costume. Like, did you get paid more for this? Right? Because you're doing multiple jobs. You should have got paid more.
You would think, right? You would think, but we got paid pretty healthy when the sale happened. So we were fine. But again, it's for the love of it. I mean, I got this question asked before. It was like, what do you give advice to aspiring actors? And I literally said, you have to love it. You just have to love it. The money and the fame mean nothing if you don't love it, because you're going to have so many failures. You're going to have so many things that you don't get. And you're going to get excited because you're like director's choice, but then the studio turns you down. But it's the ride. It's this amazing ride that you're on. So any ups are even if you're director's choice, that's a win. And then if you don't get it, it's just a learning experience, and then you can move on. But you have to love what you're doing. All that other side shit can just go away, because if you start getting frustrated because you're not booking a ton, you just got to figure out a way how to change it and do things that make you happy. If it means, you know what, I haven't booked in a year, but I'm going to put a play together because I need to get on stage. I need to act, or I'm going to put a short film together. I need to do something, or I'm just going to go to an acting class. Like, you have to love it to be a part of it. So that's why I did this, because I absolutely love people and I love teams. I love coordinating and being a part of a team. Those are the things that drive me to do this. Even for, I mean, at first it was literally we weren't getting paid because it was a pandemic, so we literally just did it for the love of it. Everything that came after it has been just bonus. So we've been very fortunate.
That's incredible. Now, and I'm curious about the process, because you touched on something about how you, even though you're doing this virtually, you weren't actually doing it virtually with the other actors. So how does that change? Because it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to mix it up because now you're going to act on Zoom. It's a whole nother thing to go, well, it's almost like the voice animation, like when you're doing voiceover and you're in a booth by yourself. Like, how did that change your process as an actor to be doing a scene to no one?
Well, I mean, again, I'll give it to Rick. Rick knew how the story should go, and so we would do the scenes a bunch of different ways. So again, the editors are the heroes. The editor, VFX heroes. Rick knowing what he wanted. So just being able to do it, basically take risks and just do the scenes so many different ways, but him allowing me to own the character of Trevor along with the dialogue and improvising here and there. It just gave me this freedom to know that on the other side, it's going to be received, and either it's one take will work or the other take will work, but we knew we had stuff there. And so just the freedom that he gave us, it wasn't as hard as you might think, just because it was, I mean, there were some uncomfortable moments because the person that was reading the other person's lines would be a little late on cues or early on cues because it's not his job. But it allowed us to kind of play a little bit more with like just having the camera on us without dialogue. So I don't know, man. It was such an interesting experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, and for those obviously haven't seen it yet, but I would describe this as it's very similar. It had a very similar feel to like those found footage movies, like Blair Witch, Cloverfield,
right.
Those kind of things. Obviously, the difference here is that we're watching it in real time. It's happening now, and it's very voyeuristic in that way. Like I feel like I shouldn't be watching. This is very intimate between these people, and I shouldn't be watching
true.
This. I'm trying to think. What is it about that kind of lends itself to that horror and suspense? Because you wouldn't see this style in like a comedy, I don't think. What is it about that, do you think, that lends to horror and suspense?
I think it's the fly on the wall aspect. I mean, when two people having a blast, you're not going to be the fly on the wall for that. It's always intrigue. It's always conflict. It's always people stick around for that kind of stuff, that being the fly on the wall. So when you're, and there's something about it being uncomfortable that's voyeuristic in that way. But seeing two guys laugh their heads off in a room, who like you just know it's a good time. You don't really spy on that. You spy on stuff that you're not supposed to see. And I think that's what makes it really interesting. Yeah,
you want that drama, you want that juice, that good stuff.
Yeah, you want the juice. Yeah.
Something that threw me for a loop when I first watched the movie, especially today's movies, they make everything almost too digestible. Everything is explained to you and force fed to you and like exposition heavy. And I felt like this movie, they just throw you in. And it's like, you gotta like pay attention. You gotta catch up. There's real quick. It tells you, okay, tech billionaire guy, and he died, and boom, now here we are. And then the story happens. Is that something that you found unique to this experience, or is it something that you felt was lacking, or should have had, or was good, or where do you fall?
No, I loved how they just threw everyone in. You literally the movie starts and you're in it, and now it's almost like you're playing catch up a little bit. And the scenes that have gone by are still, as you're watching, they're still kind of resonating in the back of your head of going, okay, I see where I'm. Okay, now I'm here. Okay, I get it. Like I love that aspect of playing catch up when the movie starts and not a lot of exposition. And that's where that intrigue and fly on the wall and looking at something you're not supposed to look at usually happens. Is you don't know any backstory. You once you've opened the door and peeked in and no one can see you, now you're a part of the ride and you're just hoping, oh, why did she say that? Why did he say that? And now you're just trying to figure it out as it goes. So that to me, I think was a really conscious choice by the filmmakers to make it that type of an experience, which I think they succeeded in.
Yeah, it's very real world. You meet someone for the first time. You don't know if they're a good guy, a bad guy, if they're in on it, if they're just as confused, if they're all these elements of the movie we're trying to figure out along with these characters, very much as if we had just tuned in to a live stream. You know, it's the same thing.
Like this one.
Like this one, exactly. And you play Trevor in the movie, and you're kind of the techie guy. In a way, the movie, in my opinion, kind of flows through you because as the tech guy, you're getting the clues and you're putting it all together and these things. And I honestly, not just because you're on the show, I think you had the best role in the movie. It was comical, it was emotional, it was vulnerable, it was scary. Like you really flexed it in this movie. So I just wanted to real quick. I mean, kudos, sir. Kudos, because
thanks, brother. I
look at it and I go, man, if I were an actor, if I was going to be a role in this movie, who would I be? And I'm like, your character, hands down, seemed to be having the most fun and things to do in the role. So
I definitely did have a lot of fun, and I was so honored to play that character for them to give me a chance at that character. And I had a blast with that guy, man. Yeah. So I appreciate that. But if I watched your show with Chris, the other lead, and you say the same thing to him, I'm coming for you, man. Is this your move? Is this your move?
Not at all. Not at all. I have all different. I'm going to tell him. I think you did great. You know, it was okay. It was all. You know, no. Actually, that was my next question. Is that I have Chris coming on in a few weeks, and I was curious. What background information can you give me? You got a zinger? Any inside jokes I can throw his way?
Just what was it like sharing a tent with a big Yeti in Antarctica?
Okay. I'm going to use that.
I kept it. He'd like to say like that big 6'5" frame kept him warm at night. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was in the military. You know, we used to share foxholes with the guys. You know, you do what you got to do to survive, man.
I get it, man. I get it. But honestly, that was the first time I met him. Like we shot a part of Antarctica. For the second film, we shot it in Antarctica, where no Hollywood scripted film has ever been shot, and that was the first time I met him on that trip. And we hit it off. We shared a tent, and we're lifers now, man. Like, I'm really fortunate to be a part of this film and a part of the team. And I just need people to go see it May 27th. It's gonna really kind of surprise you. And there's 2 more films coming right after.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Like, I know you can't say too much. How do I frame the question in a way that you could answer? You know, how does it change going from shooting everything individually to then more traditionally all together?
I mean, obviously it's going to change a lot, which I think only makes it better. And it shows, I think it being a franchise and it's showing that we made that film on Zoom, basically the way you and I are talking right now, and then taking those characters to 12 different countries, because it is a time travel movie. So we're going to be going to 12 to 13 different countries. And I think the audience, because of that virtual aspect and the voyeuristic aspect of the first movie, it kind of lends itself. I think the audience will have a connection to them outside of being in front of a computer. So I think it's really interesting in that way, where 2 and 3, you're going to see a totally different ride that these characters are going to go on.
Can you say, is it going to still give us the look of like that found footage? Like, is it through security cameras and all that, or is it going to be more traditional camera work? I'm pretty sure
it's going to be more traditional. The way we watch films now. I don't think it lends itself to what we want to do to found footage aspect of it. But I think it's great that the departure is a clean departure, and to pick up to where we're going to be in the second and the third one. And if people haven't seen the first one, they're going to want to go back and see the first one to see the rest of the story, which makes it really interesting.
Something tells me it's going to be pivotal to see the first one. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you're going to need to know some of that information to go into the second one.
That's absolutely,
without being completely lost. The way the room that you shot in, was it a hotel room? For my own personal edification, I need to know this. Was that a hotel room?
No, man, that was my house. I was 30 floors up. I have a 2-bedroom condo that I recently sold. So if they wanted footage from there, again, I can't do it because I don't have that place anymore. But it literally was 30 floors up. And I don't know if you can see it in the trailer. If you guys have watched the trailer, check out the trailer. There's one shot where you see outside of my apartment building, and it's a drone shot from the outside looking into my place. And what's a really funny story about that is because we're in lockdown and zero contact with anybody, I called a friend of mine who has a drone. I go, look, you don't even have to come up or anything. Just go down and I'll flash my lights so you know what condo I'm in. 3:00 in the morning, because we didn't want any other lights on. So it was just my light on, so we knew exactly where to go, and we're not invading anyone else's privacy. 3:00 in the morning, he drove that drone up there, got that shot, and then he was like, okay, I think I got it, because we didn't have a permit. Nothing was open. We didn't have anything. So it was like, no permit. We just got to steal this shot because we couldn't get acceptance for anything. Everything was closed. So that shot was like literally calling up a buddy. Can you get a shot of a drone just looking in so it looks like somebody's watching me? We got it done. And that's what I mean about, teamwork and just getting other people involved and creating. I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, I really loved it. It did this guerrilla style. Hey, make it work. However, we got to make it work. I love the fact that really was your place, because I was like, it's gorgeous. The nicest hotel room I've ever seen. So sorry you had to give it up. It's so nice. That's totally incredible. I know we're running out of time here. Where can people follow you? Where can people show support? What do you have coming up that you want to promote? The floor is yours.
Awesome. Aleks Paun, Aleks Paun on Twitter and Instagram. Aleks Paunovic fans on Facebook. Season 4 of Snowpiercer is coming out. You guys are going to love it. It's absolutely, we've been shooting it for a while, and it's absolutely great. And I'm executive producing and starring in a NFT sci-fi show called Gen Zeros, which we just launched a couple days ago. Go to genzeros.com, put in your email, and you get to see some really cool things with some amazing cast. So those are the things that I'm working on right now, and it's been very exciting, and I cannot wait for you guys to see Zero Contact May 27th.
Yeah, or the awesome sequels that are coming. I'm excited for the sequels because I already saw the movie.
Oh yeah, so. yeah, they're coming. They're coming.
Awesome. All right, with that, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Much love. Continued success, and we have to have you back on in the future so we can dive into it.
I'm coming back. Your reputation precedes you. A lot of people were telling me that you got to do your show. People love you. I'm so thrilled to be on your show. So thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you so much, man. We're gonna dive into the full back catalog on the next one. But all right, guys, keep an eye out for Zero Contact in theaters on demand very soon, May 27th. And this has been Aleks Paunovic. Check him out, and we'll see you back soon, buddy. Take care.
See you, man. Take care.